Happy hello, Fancy Farm. First thing I want to say is I want to thank St. Jerome Parish and for Fancy Farm for allowing me to speak here. I am the first candidate for president to speak at this event who is not a Republican or a Democrat, and I think that's a sign that more and more people are waking up to the fact that the two-party system is really a one-party system in this country. Now, I care about the things that each and every one of you care about because I'm a regular working person. I'm somebody who's had to live paycheck to paycheck. I go to the grocery store and I see the impact of inflation when I try to fill the grocery cart. But here's the thing that neither the Democrats or Republicans are going to tell you. Both of them have been driving up inflation. Because both of them run debts and deficits every single year that causes our treasury to print trillions of dollars of money. And so when we think about who we want to run against, we got the Joe Biden, who added $8.9 trillion to our deficit, who wanted to raise the age to own a gun to 21, who wanted to have due process first, but take the gun. Oh wait, never mind, I'm reading Donald Trump's record on the economy on guns. Democrats will talk a big game about civil liberties and civil rights and defending the rights of people here at home and around the world. But they are silent. They are silent as the Biden administration persecutes wars around the world that lead to death and devastation and lead to people having hatred towards the United States. We need to be fighting for a foreign policy that's rooted in peace, ending the fight, ceasefire now. We need to be having less war in the world because I trust us to be able to export our values, not with militarism and not with the bomb, the bullet, and the drone, but with free markets, with the power, the economic power that this country provides. As I've traveled to all 50 states, I've spoken to people all over the country who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of a two-party system that just doesn't listen to them, that further divides them, further divides their neighborhoods and communities, that says you have to be one or the other. It's either or. And that is not the way our democracy should be working because most people are not black or white, one or the other. We have a multitude of opinions, we have a multitude of policies that we could come together and agree on. But we don't. And why is that? That's because the Democrats, the Republicans in the world make money and they seek to divide you because it gives them power and takes power out of your hands. Now, I'm a libertarian. Some of you may say, what is a libertarian? A libertarian is somebody who believes that you can control your life better than the federal government. Somebody who believes that you can make decisions for yourself, for your family, and your neighborhood, not a giant federal government that's spending trillions of dollars a year in deficits. Raise your hand if you have a child. Raise your hand if you're a parent here in the crowd today. I bet each and every one of you love your children. I bet each and every one of you who's a parent has unconditional love for your kids. You want to see them survive, and you want to see them thrive in the world. But they can't. Why? Because we have a broken system. Because we trust bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. more than they trust you to determine the future of your family. The education choices they get to make. The medical choices they get to make. Why are we taking power out of the hands of those who have unconditional love for their families and putting it in the hands of bureaucrats in Frankfurt or Washington, D.C.? I think that's wrong. I think you should determine the education that your kids get. And if we're going to fund schools, you fund the student, not the system. If public schools are good, they'll keep being funded. But if public schools are bad, like in the city of Atlanta, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Public schools are so bad that the teachers had to collude and cheat on test scores to raise their funding. That's not successful for our students. That's not creating critical thinkers and lifelong learners. Now, I'm a libertarian because I believe you can control your life, and that includes the ability to defend yourself. I'm 2A all the way. And if I was elected president, I would tear down any unconstitutional gun laws that currently exist, including the ones that President Trump proposed himself. If I were elected president of the United States, you have somebody who thinks about you and the struggles you're going through. Not my poll numbers, not how much fundraising could I raise from super PACs or the corporations that buy and pay for me. I care about what goes on in our neighborhoods. And so I'm here to give you a warning. This is a warning to all of you. The more we divide ourselves, the further we push ourselves into one corner or the other, the further we look at our people who vote differently as enemies and hatred against them, the more our country is at risk, the more our economy is at risk, and the more the future of each and every one of us and our kids and grandkids is at risk. I'm running for president because I know we need to have a new generation in Washington, D.C. I may be a fresh face in politics. I'm 40 years old. 40 years ago, Mitch McConnell was a fresh face in politics. It's time for us to have new leadership in this country on both sides of the aisle. I am tired of Democrats and Republicans being in Congress who were in Congress when I was in high school 20 years ago. This is the problem with the two-party system. It keeps power ingrained. It keeps people stuck in this two-party morass we've been in. I dare you to vote differently. I dare you to think about the dreams in your life, the things that you want in your life. You want to own your first home. You want your kids to go to a great school. You want to see peace around the world. Whatever that dream is, much of the time it's being inhibited by bad government and bad politicians. And the only way to hold them accountable is to use the power of the vote. So chase your dreams, don't be afraid to vote differently, and vote for yourself, your community, your family, and not the politics of the two-party system. Thank you very much.
We have a coin flip for the next two speakers. During this year's general election in November, Kentuckians will decide whether